My name is Alkali, and this is your first FurCon. Who here is actually at their very first FurCon? Raise your hand.
Holy shit.
Oh, this is so cool. Welcome to MCFC, Visions of the Future, aptly named because when they planned this convention, everyone got sick, and now it's now. So it's the future, okay? This is just how things work now after COVID times. And I love after COVID times we've been seeing. You're going to see a lot of people up on stage like I am right now with their masks off because I have a wonderful radius to work with. This is my favorite part about being a dog. Hate you. That being said, the very first thing I want to talk about this weekend is mask usage. I've noticed that a lot of people are being very good about it. Thank you very much for wearing masks in public space if you can. That is wonderful. Hopefully you are vaccinated. Obviously, do your own research on COVID, and please, please, please be careful this weekend, if at all possible. And I love that I have to say, if at all possible. It's very possible, but none of us do it. Don't share drinks this weekend. I already shared a drink. Don't share joints this weekend. I already shared a cigarette. So,
it's legal here.
Exactly. I know. I can talk about it here. It's so fun. One of the things you might have heard at opening ceremonies, and the first thing I want to talk to you about, is something just in general that helps people with conventions. Who here knows what the 6-2-1 rule is? Good, we have a lot of people who are already aware of it. If you are not, it's very simple. A 6-2-1 rule is a rule that was created back in Anime-Con days. Created actually by a scientist who Uncle Kage knows the name of, but I'm going to call him Scientist Steve. So Scientist Steve was standing there one day and going, "You all smell, maybe you should take a shower." Well, that sounds like a good rule. That's the one. 6 is 6 hours of sleep a night. 2 is 2 full meals. A full meal being a meal that involves possibly a protein, maybe a vegetable, goddammit.
Absolutely not.
Sometimes that can have, you can eat a vegetable. I eat vegetables. I spit them out, but I eat them.
Weed is not a vegetable.
It's green. It is green. Love you too. 2 real meals, and finally, 1 shower. The first 2 rules are for you. The last rule is for everyone else. 6 hours of sleep is actually very important because do not forget your body is a machine, and a machine needs fuel. It needs downtime. If you do not, it needs to drop a... What are you guys breaking back there? All I thought I saw was my voice destroying one of the curtains that they're using to block off their green room like I have powers.
Stop reading that much, it's okay.
Love you too. Your body does need to recharge. And why is that? Because when you are tired, when you don't get a real 6 hours of sleep, parts of your body just aren't going to work as well as they can. And one of those parts are your immune system. And as we can all tell right now, that is a system you kind of want to keep up on maintenance. So please get 6 hours of sleep every night. 2 full meals a day. Thank you very much. 2 full meals a day, it's the exact same thing. You need that energy. You don't want to go to this convention and have Beer Friday. You remember your first convention. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my sidekick, Fur. Fur. They're so wonderful. First started the furry fandom according to his Twitter page. Also, he lies on Twitter, so that's fun.
No, get it right. I lied to CNN.
That's right, you did lie to CNN. Thank you for reminding me.
Ask me that story later.
No, we're going to talk about it in a second.
Well, a second is later.
Thank you. I appreciate the future. A lot of people end up using their first convention because you're just so excited. I know I was. Do you remember your first fur convention?
Oh, yeah.
Did you 6-2-1 at all?
Oh, absolutely not. I slept in my car.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a bed in our car.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that, but your life sounds like an adventure.
And we have an apartment. We just also sleep in our car sometimes because we door
Do you park your car in your bedroom? Because this is getting awesome. The very first time I went to a FurCon, I arrived there and I was so overwhelmed with what was happening, the 621 rule became 0012. I showed up to the convention, I did not sleep, I barely had a meal, but I showered with a bunch of my friends. And that was the entire convention for me. By Saturday, the convention was a blur. By Sunday, I got sick. And on Monday, I thought I had dysentery. Never read WebMD when you are tired. I did get insanely sick at my first convention. That was 100% because I was not following the 6-to-1 rule. Again, we harp on this rule because it matters. Please take care of yourself. You will enjoy the convention more because if you do that, you will get to enjoy the entire convention. You won't just be a zombie come Saturday. Leave that to the rest of us. That's what happens to the organizers. Now, Fur! Go ahead.
What? I was going to say, even like the veterans among us, let's be honest, we're all a little bit rusty at this thing. You know, we might... 621 is something you really, really want to pay attention to. You will burn out. You will... This is one of those things where it's like, I feel like I'm the old angry man trying to teach you young kids some whippersnappery things, but every single person, like 621 is one of those things where it's like, trust me, even if you think you don't need it, you need it. And listen to the old guys on the stage. Yeah.
What noises are you making, youngin'?
Yeah.
We're like, they're like,
Get off of my lawn.
Next one really quick we want to talk about because we're all realists here. We know what's happening this weekend. A few of you are going to enjoy a beverage of some kind that has been fermented over the course of many months or possibly many years. And all I can say to that is a rule that I live by myself. Two rules I live by myself. One, know your limits. For the love of God, there is no faster way to ruin your convention than to have Dorsai show up in your room and go, "We found you from the trail of vomit." And a few laughing. It didn't happen to me, but I was there when we knocked on the kid's door. He wasn't happy. Also, he flushed all his weed for no reason. It wasn't funny. Dorsai are loud. They are very loud. And two, and this is just something that I use, find your best friend. Find your friend. Find somebody you're here with. And just trust them. And when they tell you, hey, maybe you should go to bed, go to bed! Like last night! When the room starts spinning, but you are completely still, and you think the best way to get back to your room is to walk in a random direction that ends up being a balcony, go to bed! It's going to help you out in the long run. Please know your limits. Please, please, for the love of God, remember that we are all here to have a good time. It's really not a good time if we find a bunch of people laying in the hallways drunk. So.
And you joke, but that happens. The one thing I always, the one piece of advice I will give to anyone who does partake in the spirited beverage, drink fucking water.
Yep.
Just before you go to bed, no matter what, even if you've drunk the same amount before at home, you're fine. You're walking around, you're exercising, your body's not used to it, your body's not ready for it. Just have a couple glasses of water before you go to bed. Your body will thank you, and your friends will thank you because you will no longer complain about your damn hangover at the morning breakfast. Because that's the conversation every Sunday and every Saturday. I'll go down to breakfast, and it'll just be people being like, "Oh, I should have not drunk all that. I had Exactly.
And if one of your friends gets to that point, they're a little hungover and you really want to help them, this is weird, but if you look at the ingredients, it's everything your body is missing. Pedialyte, fuck it, the cure for the common hangover. Trust an expert. I think, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got...
Okay. The really quick ones that just people need to know. Operations, they did announce this at opening ceremony. If you ever lose something, a room key, a badge, go to operations. That's where Lost and Found is. That is located directly across from where you registered. It's right across from registration. That is also where you go to volunteer. Now, Fur, would you like to go over the wonders of volunteering with them?
I would love to.
Because it's genuinely fun. Everyone standing up on the stage started off by volunteering. I started my career here sitting in front of a door with a stick that I painted a face on that was checking people's badges. And that was fun for 4 hours.
Yeah. So one of the things about this furry con, and literally every furry con, is that it is run by volunteers. You'll see people that say they're staff, they're volunteers as well. They just got asked to do more. But the heart and soul of every convention is the volunteers. It's the people that want to come in and spend just a couple of hours helping out. And volunteering can range from people who bring specialized skills, like our AV team. They come and they bring, wonderful industry knowledge. We have performers who perform on stage. Alkali is a very experienced LARPer. And bullshit artist. It's great. When I brought Alkali LARPs, he's like wearing way less clothes than this, so this is weird.
Excuse me, belts go with everything, especially if you just have 20 of them.
Belts don't go with nothing!
They went with nothing that time!
But,
just belts.
Yeah, volunteering is one of those great ways, especially if you're new, because you get, besides the straight up swag you get, I think at this con if you do 5 hours, you get a piece of swag from previous years. If you get 10, you get a t-shirt. And if you get 20, you get free registration for next year. In addition to that, it's just all those little soft benefits that are really hard to kind of explain or even quantify. Like, if you're out there checking badges for someone, you're meeting people. You're going to say hello. You're going to start to get that commingling. Because furries are weird in the sense that we're fans of each other. I don't know who said that first, but it says it perfectly.
Yeah, it really does. It is kind of strange. The furry fandom is one of the very few fandoms that you can actually call a fandom that is not waiting on anyone else. The My Little Pony fandom is based off of the My Little Pony cartoon. If the My Little Pony cartoon stops producing content, the fandom, I wouldn't say it stagnates, but there's nothing new coming in. We're furries. We're drawing porn right now, right down the hall. We're good. We make our own content. We make our own stage performances. We had a convention just a few years ago that literally put on a fully produced play, entirely written, the music performed by furries. And that's just what we do. So if you didn't know what you stumbled into, you've stumbled into what I consider to be one of the greatest communities on the planet, and also one of the most kind and caring communities on the planet, which we're going to hear about once we get into the charity topic.
Oh, absolutely. But, yeah, so volunteering is a great way to just literally say hello, meet your friends. You're here. You all know what you are. We all know that we're furries. We have that starting point. Volunteering is a great way to meet people that you wouldn't necessarily interact with otherwise, because, let's be honest, if you're meeting people online, you're kind of stay within, the social circles that the algorithm shoves you into.
The algorithm.
Here it's great because you get to meet people. I was just like Alkali. I started as a volunteer at MFF 2007. God, I'm old.
You're supposed to mumble the year 2000.
Yeah. Oh man, remember cons before smartphones?
No!
Yeah, you're right. Alcohol.
Yes!
You don't want to remember those. I have Polaroids from my first convention, not because it was a neat retro thing, but because that was what was in style at the time.
Just a fun piece of old-time furry trivia. So literally before Telegram, before it was really easy to get a hold of everyone, message boards. FurCons had message boards. In the hospitality suite, there would be cork boards all along a wall and a pile of index cards with push pins. And that's how you communicated. And it was someone's job to check those boards once an hour to make sure that they were PG-13. Which culminated at one of my favorite conventions, and I don't want to say their name because of what this was, with a single drawing of a gentleman like this, and then individual index cards of people drawing the snake just back and forth over 18 cork boards. And the poor guy who was in charge of this walks in and he goes, "It's good," and just left.
Oh,
Yeah, you're not as loud as
I'm not loud.
You're loud, it just doesn't carry. You have to use them like that. That's how it works.
Hell, AC didn't get rid of their message board until 2015.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because they're behind the times, man.
I know.
Anthrocon just figured out with internet. I could register by mail
Yes.
to Anthrocon last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in that department.
I'm still imagining Kage. Kage is the con chairman of Anthrocon. He's like, I'm angry, I need to call security. Oh, you're in trouble. Sorry, Sam. Kako Kage is a very good friend of mine. I'm allowed to make fun of him. Don't you? He will drink you. It's a threat if you know him.
I've seen the IFC frat boy video, I know.
Ah, good. You understand.
Oh, that's a bit of our history right there.
That might be a good jump point. So you good on volunteering?
Yeah, I think they understand volunteering.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, volunteering. You go to ops or you go to the volunteering desk, and seriously, I would just. This is my shill. Spend an hour. That's it. Like you don't have to. It's not a big commitment. And now I'm done.
And by the way, if there is something you're looking to do with a convention, in reality, oh my god, in the real world, I do a lot with finance, and I worked my way up to becoming financial director for multiple conventions because I truly enjoy doing that. So if there's an activity that you think you will bring to this convention, volunteer, let them get to know you. We are always looking for skilled people. You will get into that position eventually. We can almost promise you that.
Yes.
Yeah.
My day job is large-scale audiovisual experiences. I legitimately got the job I have now because I helped at AV staff at Furry Cons. It's a great way to experience something that, like, is just different. And if you're not afraid of it, like, it's resume fodder.
Oh yeah.
It's not 2008 anymore. No one cares about furries. Like you say, you do these large-scale fan conventions on such a small budget and all this stuff. Like, people love that.
Yep.
And one other thing about volunteering, it does let you get to find out what everyone up here has to go through.
You know, don't scare them! Don't scare them!
No.
We're obviously scarred! Look at my
I
eyes!
know. The hard work that these guys put in is amazing, and seriously, I would volunteer at least 1 hour. 1 hour!
It does help the convention.
Yes.
That being said, one of the things about volunteering that's wonderful is you get to meet new people, and that's the next topic, and that is, this might be your first convention. Who here is their first convention? They're here with less than 2 people that they know. Raise your hand. All right. That was also the same boat I was in when I first came to a fur convention. I actually had my buddy drop me off. He gets to the front door. He says, hey, have a good time. Looks at him and goes, they're all wearing tails. You're going to have a great time. And then he drove off. The way I met people was by going to panels. So as you checked in, or online presently, if you go to their website, you can see the schedule for this weekend, and you're going to see panels. Those panels range from large-scale performances, like the Pepper and Citrine concert that's happening tomorrow at 6 p.m., that's Saturday at 6 p.m., a full musical concert by the person who wrote the play that I mentioned earlier. He was the one who wrote half the music for it, and Citrine, your guest of honor, who has 2 different songs that make me bawl my eyes out every time I hear them. Unbelievable performances, and this is live music. I don't know about all of you, one of the things I've really missed during the last year is live musical performances. It's always a good time to see them. We turn it into pseudo-charity shows. It's a blast. On top of that are individual style panels, special interest panels. I went to a panel on building rockets, not quite understanding what it was. I was trying to learn how to make fireworks. I took some information from them. But in that panel, I ended up meeting 2 people who have been friends of mine for years. There's panels on your fursonas, meet and greets for the mustelids. I myself am a ferret. I used to go to the mustelid meet and greet all the time. The dragon meet and greet, stuff like that. Find a panel you are interested in because you know that the other people in that room are also interested in it. It's a wonderful way to meet people. And on top of that, if you don't see a panel that you want, if you don't see the panel, you're like, oh, why isn't that a meet and greet? Why isn't that a panel? That's where you come in next year. Don't forget, have fun this year, enjoy the sights, enjoy the panels, and next year, bring in your own spin. Bring in your own panel. You submit them a few months ahead of time, and then you get to be up here on stage. You get to share your knowledge. You get to run a discussion. It is absolutely outstanding. It is so much fun to do, and I cannot recommend it enough. I am unfortunately running 16 hours worth of paneling this weekend because I got drunk and submitted a bunch of shit, and they said yes. So I need some people to take some of these from me next year. I'd really appreciate it.
If you laughed and had a good time this year, you owe us next year. Simple as that. It's weird paneling because there's a lot of these big performative panels. Like this is an educational panel, but it's still a little bit performative. You have a loud man up on stage.
Man-child. I just call him man-child. It's fine.
But
Thingy, thank
I
you.
think the real magic at these cons are those weird little educational panels, and not even just the ones that are furry specific. I run a panel called Adding Useless Electronic Bullshit to Your Fursuit. And it's one of those things where it's like, I as a Navy engineer can like bring a little bit of that knowledge that I have and tell you how to like make a fursuit that won't catch on fire. Or will intentionally. Remember with pyro, it's 4 layers of protection, 2 non-flammable, 2 non-breathable. That's the trick.
You don't tell them how to set themselves on fire! It's literally a rule! We came up with it 2 years ago when it happened!
Wait, is it in the rule set?
It's in my rule
That
set!
doesn't count.
You're playing by 5.5 rules!
Oh, my apologies.
So like, and the thing is, there are a lot of hidden gems. Like, a lot of these panels will have a very small attendance count. It'll be a really cool way to get discussions. Again, that whole meeting people that you share interests with. Furry is such a weirdly broad subject. It's nice to be able to meet people that are specific things. And it's weird because I've noticed over the years, a lot of these panels are kind of drifting away from like furry subjects. Like I saw like baking math as one.
Useful.
There was a statistics panel. Someone had a panel on,
I ran a physics panel one
on
time.
like the different types of ceramics, and I'm like, that's a weird one. I went in there and it's like a PhD graduate in ceramic technology explaining the different. I was like, this is weird. I'll never be able to see this again.
Awesome.
And
There was
also,
advanced trigonometry, my all-time favorite find. In the basement of Fur Square, there was a panel called Advanced Trigonometry. It started at 10 p.m. I have to go to that. It was directly across the hall from the bondage panel. Like, yes! I wandered downstairs, I go into the panel, it was absolutely applied trigonometry. They were playing beer pong.
Combine the two.
We are not combining those panels! Because bondage beer pong sounds bad.
so if you want to submit bondage beer pong next year, feel free. The panel's open about 6 months before.
Just change the name.
And of course, my favorite kind of panel, you'll also find performing panels out there. Now, I know of 2 of them at this convention, and that is the Who's Line panel, which will be today, actually 1 hour after this panel. That is a literal improv panel. I will be running it. You will be the performers. If you would like to try your improv chops, feel free to show up. It'll be a COVID-safe performance. We will have less people on the stage than normal. That's something that we're doing this con. We also have charity Who's Line, which will be when you see my friends torture me and my friends with Who's Line games when we try to show money from you. I will do poorly because I will be drunk.
That means you'll do better.
Oh, and if you're just looking to sit back and watch a show, one that I always recommend, especially if you're interested in the furry fandom, I think actually all of us will be on the stage again. By the way, I'm inviting you to this panel because you have stories. Convention War Stories is an absolute favorite of mine, where we will tell you all the shit that happens behind the scenes with a 2-year window, because we kept getting in trouble for telling you stuff that had just happened, and then, you know, cops got involved.
Cops
I just
sometimes
realized,
get
like-
involved.
Oh man, 2 years ago, that actually opened some fun stories.
Right? Yeah. There's 2 new stories of mine that just came active this year, and I'm excited to tell them.
Ooh.
Oh, I can tell the pizzeria at First Squared story now.
And the panel was canceled. It was canceled. I can't believe it was canceled. You don't know, I was the con chairman of First Squared, so no, you're not telling that story.
That was
Did I tell the dynamite one?
Fuck off. Yes.
Can we pay for it?
If you want to
We
check
pay
out
for
the
it.
panels, they're not doing physical printed panels this year, so it's all on your phone. Just check the website. They update it in real time. It's actually a lot better.
I want to make sure I didn't miss nothing.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool ones, and like I said, there are performative panels, which is mostly guys on stage yapping at you. There's, if you see, I don't think they call them here, but if you ever see SIG, it stands for Special Interest Group. It took me literally 2 years to ask someone what that acronym meant.
Sing!
It's just like, what does dolphin sig mean? I'm not going to go there because I feel dirty saying it. But yeah, like, serious. If I can give you one piece of advice, just find one panel that you wouldn't think you would want to go to and just go into it. This isn't high school. You can leave too. Like if you're not feeling the panel, no one's going to get hurt if you walk out. Or if you can only be at the panel for half the time, no one's going to get offended. This is very low stakes.
Actually, honestly, one of my favorite panels of all time. I had nearly every person walk out on me. The panel was how to run a fur con. And we started to get into it, and people were just like, "Oh hell no!" And that panel ended up being myself and Uncle Kage at a table with the one guy who had the balls to stay, who ended up crying. It was my favorite panel. It was amazing.
Everyone else was smart.
Everyone, yes. When I first ran a fur convention, I actually asked Uncle Kage for advice. I just sent him a nice long email like, "Hey, I'm going to start one. Here's my plan. This is what I'm thinking. What do you think?" He sent me back a one-page email. It was only one page because he increased the size of the font to 72. It was, "You're a fucking idiot." I have that framed in my office right now. It's one of my favorite emails. Okay. Are we on Fursuits?
Did you do
Fursuits charity.
Fursuits and charity first.
Charity first.
Charity this week, and if you aren't here at opening ceremonies, they're trying something super cool. This is a bee charity, Detroit High.
Yep.
Detroit High. What they are doing, and this is actually super cool, it's once again using nature to help nature. They are putting in little hives in abandoned lots in Detroit and letting the bees roam free. And as most of us should know, that means that there's going to be a lot of cross-pollination going on. It's good for the flowers, which is then good for the environment. And also, it's good for the bees, a nearly endangered species now because we keep swatting them. They look like hornets. It's not my fault.
It's really cool because I've been following the Detroit Hives people, and I've been learning a lot of useless bee trivia. Did you know that there are over 400 species of bees in Michigan alone?
400 species?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Congratulations, you now know that.
Thank you, Fur. And if you hated the panel, at least you learned something.
Yeah, you're welcome.
They leave like, we have to kill 400 bees. That's what I learned. There's one thing that will be happening. You'll especially be seeing myself, my friend over here, a few other people are going to be shilling for charity a lot during our panels. Very specific panels. Charity Who's Line, for example. Never feel like that means you need to donate to be there. That is not the case. We are furries. Furries alone, and we're talking about back in 2018, I heard the statistics. No, I'm sorry, 2016, I had found out that the fur fandom as a whole had raised over $2 million for animal-related charities. That was in 2016. By 2019, we were just shy of the $3 million mark, and that is because of A, the furry fandom is growing at an alarming rate. Very alarming. We're getting marketed to now, and that is terrifying. If you go into Target and you see a big round plush head, just know they know who you are and they want your money. But they want their money for corporate purposes. We want your money to save bees! Never feel like when you are at a panel that is shilling for money that you are required to donate, we are furries. We are going to raise money for these animals this weekend. We help those who can't help themselves. If you can't donate, don't worry about it. And if you can, please give. We're going to help the Detroit Bee Foundation, and they are about to be shocked at what the furry fandom can do. So thank you so much for letting me give that pitch. Do you have anything else for charity?
If you want to support the charity directly, they do have a booth over near the Artist Alley. They have a very few T-shirts left. They actually for some reason they only sent us 5XLs. So if you are an XL, I think you might want to go up there right after this and grab one. They got T-shirts, they got stickers, postcards, the usual little bits of swag. They also got just a donation box. If you want to, just throw a couple bucks in there. It really helps out because it does add up. And I don't say this. When I say this, it's going to sound weird, but although the point of this convention is not the charity, the highlight of my event, period, is at closing ceremonies when they announce that total.
Yes.
And it's always the same thing. Right about here, you have the charity representative, and they're just kind of.
And normally it'd be like an animal, a dog charity, so they'd have a dog on a leash, so they'll have bees on leashes.
They better not.
There's like 80 of them.
I found you can actually do that.
How do you do that?
Fishing line.
Fishing line and
Fishing line and glue.
I hate you. All right, so I'm the bees. I'm the bees.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
And then the person just sitting here, like super, they see the people, they're a little bit nervous. And then they announce the number. And then the person just stops for a second. And then the whole room goes silent. And then you just start hearing thunderous applause. And the person here always does the same thing. They do the... So, you've got that coming for you. Trust me. I was like, my very first convention, I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. I'm not really, feeling it. And this was MFF. And I'm sitting at closing ceremonies, and the girl, literally watching her cry. I look at, a bunch of strangers. We're all crying. It's a very cathartic moment. And this is back in, the late 2000s when we weren't allowed to show emotion because cringe. It's a really good thing. So please, if you see us up on stage shilling for charity, we're doing it because we want to help animals. Don't feel like you have to, but please consider, and please, if you can, please give. That's the end of that show.
Sorry, keep talking.
Oh, it's okay.
I have to do a thing, sorry.
Oh, cookie clicker? Really? In 2021? Okay, whatever.
It's a comeback.
Farmville's calling too, I bet.
Cookie Clicker had a comeback recently.
I know, right? They came out on Steam. I've been screwed. So I think the last big thing and the finale of this thing is the fursuits. But before that, does anyone have any questions at this point before we get into more of it? Anyone here have a stupid question? Just ask us the stupidest things. I swear I will laugh at Alkali, but I will not laugh at you. Hey, buddy in the back. Capital of Delaware? Boise.
Dover.
Public school education.
So I was trying to cross into Canada a long time ago. My buddy is next to me in the passenger seat. They said, "Where are you coming from?" I said, "Chicago." They, "Oh, how did you get here?" I'm like, "Oh, through Indiana and Michigan and Port Huron." They said, "All right, what's the state motto of Indiana?" And without missing a beat, my friend leaned over and goes, "Who the fuck cares?" By the way, it's the crossroads of America, in case they ever ask you that at the border.
Because you never want to stop in Indiana. It's just to go to
It's just crossroads.
Yeah.
All right, shall we do fursuits?
Let's do fursuits.
Can I have my assistant, Status? Would you mind coming up here, please?
Hello.
Guys, give a round of applause to Status. What?
Charming.
Charming. The character's name is Charming, and it's very charming.
Don't go on the speakers.
Okay,
yeah.
I will not.
They're calling me.
I'll stay here. Is this cool? Wait.
Oh,
What do you want? Oh, God.
I'm going to help you on
All right.
stage.
Bro, I can't see.
That's why I'm handling
The one
you.
thing-
What's a handler, you ask? That was your set.
I know, I am trying not to cough my brains out. I got tequila in my larynx.
Oh.
All right. Fursuiting is a huge part of the furry fandom, and I want to start off with this. A fursuit is not a costume. A fursuit is literal art. May I ask,
You were there.
I'm asking you a leading question.
Okay, I won it in an auction.
All right, how much did you pay for that fursuit, if you're comfortable sharing that?
$575.
All right, $575 for the fursuit, won at auction. How did you feel when you won that fursuit?
And my dad was going to kill me.
That their dad was going to kill them. Okay, that is
I had the
understandable.
same feeling.
For many people, the moment you get that first fursuit, the moment you really feel like, this is me, this is mine, this is the character that I am going to get to perform as, that is a feeling that cannot be replicated. And that feeling is tied into this piece of art. Treat it like a piece of art. This looks adorably soft. I very much want to pet it right now. And that's okay, because I can ask. May I feel your fursuit?
You may.
The hand is going to be just as soft as the booper. Because remember this, that is, by the way, insanely soft. Holy
Isn't it
shit.
wonderful?
That is super cool. A doggo, a real doggo, a soft, fluffy doggo. You just want to go, you want to pet it, you want to scratch it. And when you scratch it, it's going to be so happy, and it's going to wiggle, and it's going to shed. And then a month later, that hair's going to be back, and you'll be vacuuming it anyway, so that's fine. This fur doesn't grow back. Normally. Look, there's a reason the 1 in the 6-to-1 rule exists. Fur can grow back, you just don't want it growing that way. Don't come up and just scritch a fursuit. Don't come on. There are performers wearing art. Please just be mindful of that. You can ask permission. Permission for a hug, even with nonverbal cues. Hug. Sometimes this is going to happen, and you need to remember that it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes when somebody asks for a hug, they get waved off. Why? Was it because of you? Probably not. We put a thermometer in one of these fursuits at Anthrocon a few years ago.
Yep.
Within 10 minutes of wearing the suit, the temperature inside of the head had reached 112 degrees. They don't want to hug you because of you. They don't want to hug you because they are basically a living, walking sponge. And they're not interested in that moment in their lives. Don't take insult when and if that happens. It has nothing to do with you. On the other side of that, if you're eating Cheetos, don't ask to hug a fursuit. If you have a drink in your hand, even if you are a full-blown alcoholic, as some of us on the stage are, don't offer to hug the fursuit. Arms move, people walk by, the drink gets spilled, the bottle gets crushed, you get something on the fursuit. It's horrible. It takes a lot to clean these things. Fursuit care and maintenance is its own panel. That's how much it takes to clean these things. All we're saying here is have a bit of respect. And now, my favorite question, and I think you know the answer to this. The most expensive fursuit in the fandom right now, it was just beat in 2019. We have a new number. Who knows what the most expensive fursuit in the fandom is right now? I'm looking for a general. Yep.
Question? Counting inflation?
Not counting inflation. The day they purchased it. I didn't do math for this panel. That's a different panel. All the way back. What do you got?
15K.
15K. You are under what the old number used to be. We are way over 15K. Who's got 2 more guesses right there? What do you got?
75K.
75K. That's going to be a bad day. That's going to be a day. That's the fursuit that teleports. That's what that was. You don't need to use the elevators anymore. I'm going to tesseract my ass down to the fucking con suite.
That's a fursuit that can actually fly.
And last one, right in back. What do you think?
25 grand.
$69.
Okay, so the 25 grand is actually one of the older numbers. What was that number?
$42,069.
I don't know if you actually know it and are just barely off, but you are insanely close. The number right now is slightly over $40,000.
I want to see this fursuit.
The fursuit has backwards facing legs. The fursuit has stilts inside of it. It can go from quad to dual. It has air conditioning! It has air conditioning! It costs more than both of my first cars combined! I love furries, but now you understand what I mean when, excuse me, it's art. That is no longer a costume. That is art. This is wearable, breathable, living art. This is a performer. Please bear that in mind when interacting with these guys over the weekend. I do. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Now, to help you interact with them, shall we get the visual range test?
Ooh, this is my favorite part.
Could you look out into the audience? Now, this person is wearing a fursuit, and the fursuit has an elongated head with eyes that protrude out. Face back here, eyes here. Their range of vision is a little bit more narrow than you'd think. I'll go high, you go low. When you can see our hands, could you please tell us?
Sure.
I
can see first.
You see first?
Now I can see yours.
There you go. Okay. Side to side. Ready?
Yep.
You can see us.
See yours.
Okay.
You can see first.
The range of vision.
It is a box.
All right. So, what's down here?
Children!
Not this con.
Well,
That's right. Chairs, children, decks, all things you can trip over. I'm not changing the script because you had a new line. You got your hand up. What's up, friend?
It's Sigma.
Oh, I actually can't see you because the lights.
Yeah, I figured as much. What about the realistic ones that are coming up to tear dust?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that's even worse.
yeah.
And that's why I bring it up.
Fursuiters have an incredibly narrow range of vision, and we are telling you that because, again, if you would like to talk to a fursuiter, get their attention, feel the fursuit, interact. You need to get their attention. They need to know where you are. And on top of that, you need to help them know where other things are. It is perfectly acceptable to see a fursuiter walking along and just go, well, this is the only way this going. Chair! They'll freeze. Only use it for good.
Or comedy.
My favorite was watching two parents, the mother seeing the daughter run towards the fursuiter, the father looking over, the mother going, child, and the father going, she'll learn. The kid got picked, kid learned. Photos, and after this one I'm going to throw, I'm sorry, I see a question. Oh, that's very good. What's the box on your neck?
This is a fan. I turn it on and it goes in my mouth.
Hot.
I'm not. Yes, that's
Num,
what
num,
it
num,
helps
num, num.
with.
Yes.
It gets very hot in here. There isn't a lot of ventilation. This helps with ventilation.
There you go.
I think it was like $10 on Amazon and it doesn't work very well.
You get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Pictures are another very quick one. If you would like a picture with a fursuiter, please make sure that you have another person with you who can take the picture, or be ready to take the picture yourself. Again, 114 degrees inside that head, measured at Anthrocon, and that was one particular fursuit. Yours is definitely fuzzier than theirs were. And
I'm also
also,
wearing a mask under here and it's really hot.
do you have a balaclava on under there?
No, I have an actual mask as well.
Oh, you have your mask on?
Yes.
Okay. So just to give you an idea, if you're going to take a picture, have it ready to go. It was funny the first time.
Yeah.
Please don't turn your picture onto video and then stand there waiting for them to do something. Oh, I got a video. That stopped being funny in like 2011.
Yeah.
I'm making a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, flash photography. Do not forget, inside that fursuit head, yes, they are looking out into the world, but inside that fursuit head is very dark. If you put a blinding flash directly into those lights, into those eyes, you will literally blind them. So please be careful of
I had
that.
protection.
Did you wear sunglasses
No,
in
I
your suit?
had the visor.
Oh, I thought you were just too cool for school
I-
suiting.
Yeah.
School suitings. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I just never stop for pictures.
Suitings or
You
shootings?
want the list alphabetical or chronological?
Shut up. Fur, what do you got? Everything. Up to safety. Up to safety. Safety will be the last one.
So, these fursuits, in addition to not seeing very well, also sometimes can't hear well.
Oh God.
You are wearing couch foam over your head. It's usually pressed right up against your ears. If you see a fursuiter and you need to get their attention, just remember, big movements, big visual movements,
Yell at
auditory movements. Say things, feel free to use a little bit of your outside voice because they sometimes can't hear you, and especially if you talk quickly and quietly, like the fursuiter might not understand, and because a lot of fursuiters don't talk back just out of preference, it's very hard to communicate back and forth if you're not giving them good information, good questions. So just talk slowly, talk clearly. I used to say, act like you're talking to a child, but we're at a furry con. That should be implied to everyone.
God damn it.
Is he wrong?
No. Definitely not to me.
Look, I'm just saying, tequila out of a sippy cup, that a certain portion of our fandom has figured it out because it aerates it.
There's a drop out of
Perfect
that
air
thing
to
for
feel
that.
I'm very aware, Fur!
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me up to this panel.
I miss you.
I miss you too. Yeah, so just remember, be big movements and understand the fursuiters might not talk back to you. Don't take that as offense. That's just their preference.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Last couple things. There's a couple. I feel that they're more universal than people think they are. But just if you see someone crossing their hands like this, that means I'm in trouble. Please help me. I see a lot of fursuiters saying, like they do this. They're like, I need to go take my head off. Feel free to just ask the fursuiter, are you doing okay? Yes, simple yes and no questions. Are you doing okay? Do you need help getting to the Headless Lounge? If they need help getting somewhere, feel free to offer to lead them. Please be helpful to these people. They are definitely things can go south in a fursuit really quick without really being apparent. And it might look cute, but if you see a fursuiter looking like they're sleeping, just check on them.
Yeah, especially if one's sitting in a chair, not moving for a very long time.
My very first time in fursuit, I went way too hard, and I was in the lobby of Anthrocon for 4 hours before someone checked on me. That wasn't fun.
That is a real thing. Remember, if you come across a fursuiter who is unresponsive sitting there, it is always so. Hi, are you okay? There is only one answer you're looking for, and that is yes. Because do not forget, the first sign of heat stroke is you will not be able to clearly state your meaning. So if they say anything other than yes, or a very clear iteration of yes, there could be a problem. What do you do in that situation? This convention, along with all others, usually has their own security. Here it is the Dorsai Irregulars. This is a Dorsai con, right?
Yes.
90% sure. This is a Dorsai con. The Dorsai Irregulars have been running convention security since Star Trek conventions in the 80s. They have been doing this for a very long time. They are very good at what they do. If you come across someone and you are worried, you may either A, stay with them and get somebody to go get security, or B, find somebody to stay with them and then you go get security, but you do not want to leave them alone if at all possible. Number 2, do not, under any circumstances, remove the fursuit head unless they are specifically asking for your help. It is not a good idea to remove their fursuit head no matter what the circumstances. Why? You don't know what's going on in there. That is a easy way for an injury if there is something other than heat stroke going on, and it's a liability thing. You really don't want to do that, which then goes to the other side. Some of you might actually get to fursuit this weekend. One of my very first events, my friend let me their fursuit, and I went crazy for 15 minutes, and then I slept for 12 hours. It was incredible. But I also had to remember I had been drinking. Since I was drinking, I was very susceptible to overheating. If I would have passed out, which I started to do, my friends got me back to the room, I took off the fursuit, but if I had to take a ride in the magical, healthy rave bus that you know as an ambulance, do you know what they're going to do to your fursuit? Remember, the things that we just talked about can cost over $40,000. They're going to cut it off. And if you are conscious and you ask them not to, they have the same line. We're very sorry, this is protocol. They will cut you out of that suit because you can't be moving around. So please, please be safe. If you're in a suit, it's going to be warm. I do not recommend doing that with any kind of inebriation. You are way more susceptible to heat stroke if that is the case. So that is a safety thing. Please bear that in mind this weekend. And I think
that covers.
Fursuit is not consent.
I always forget that line. Thank you. Fursuit is not consent is a line that is necessary. Again, if you would like a hug, ask. Just because they are a cute, adorable, fuzzy animal does not mean that you can pounce them. Please, in fact, do not. I had windows in the hotel, inside, where the pool was, and I was taking a breather. And I heard a humongous clunking sound as a fursuiter slammed into the window and the window treatment, tearing down 4 different sets of blinds in the hotel that I was paying for the weekend. It may have angered me, but think of what it did to the hotel. Those 2 people got banned. We had no say in that. The hotel has the ability to tell you to leave. Don't piss off the hotel. Say again. Oh, and I believe, is anyone actually wearing a badge?
Yes.
Do they have, they don't have it on there. Okay, that's not this guy. This guy doesn't do it. Never mind. My apologies. I think, he, she, they. I don't know. He, she on the badges.
Pronouns?
Pronouns, yeah.
They got ribbons.
Did you have ribbons?
Should be in contour.
Oh, right. Oh, I misunderstood what you were trying to tell me. And the other reason, you don't just go and feel a fursuiter, because don't forget, you don't know who's inside that. If you come up to me in a fursuit and you rub over this soft tummy fur, I'm going to go, eh. If you go up to a person who looks like me, who is of the opposite gender, and you go, they're going to go, ah, and that's not good. So remember, you don't know who's in the fursuit. That is another reason why, if you would like to feel fursuit, we usually say stick with the hands. That is just as soft. It is amazing. You are adorable. Guys, can we get a huge round of applause for Status for helping? Yes, absolutely. Status is going to promote something.
Hi, so I use this character for charity. If you go to thecharmingotter.com, I sell furry merchandise and apparel, and 100% of the profits go to charity.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And as Status is sitting down, I was reminded of one other thing. Thank you both. Elevators. A fursuiter, especially after the fursuit parade, but all this weekend. A fursuiter going up to their room is probably going up to their room to get out of fursuit, to shower, and to cool down. If there's a line at the elevators, it is very common and it is very appreciated if you let the fursuiters go first. There are 2 elevators in this hotel going up to all the floors. I know there's a bit of a wait sometimes, but fursuiters are going to get overheated. That is a safety hazard. Please let them go up to the room ahead of you. The convention, myself, and every fursuiter truly appreciates it. Do you think of anything else?
Well, we got a question first.
The questions, yes.
Headless Lounge etiquette.
Headless Lounge etiquette.
Thank you.
So, one of the rooms that every furry convention provides is called a Headless Lounge. It's a place where a fursuiter, without having to go back up to their room, can go take a break, take off their head, drink some water, cool down. There's usually some fans. It says the word lounge, but do not treat it like that. If you're not a fursuiter and you're not going there to cool off, don't hang out in there. Don't go in there and take their water. Don't go in there and just use it as a socializing space. It is literally just meant to be a place for you to go in suit, cool down, and come back out.
Also, absolutely no photography in the Headless Lounge. None. That is just common etiquette. We do not take pictures in the Headless Lounge. People are in various stages of undress. It's not okay.
Yeah, I guarantee you, it's a couple of box fans and a water cooler. Like, there's nothing special in there. If you're a fursuiter, please use it as much as you need. That's why it is there. If you're not a fursuiter, you really don't need to be in there.
Respect the air.
Yeah, respect there.
Question in the back?
The Headless Lounge here is over...
It's down that way.
Yeah, it's over that way. I want to say on the second floor? First floor.
Hold on, you said it was across from what?
It's right next to Artist Alley.
Right, there we go. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
needed.
Artist Alley.
Right next to Artist Alley.
Oh, real quick, stupid thing a question I had for several years. Dealer's Den versus Artist Alley. Dealer's Den is where people can sell pre-made merchandise. Artist Alley is generally where you find people making art at the con. You can have people making art at the con. In the Dealer's Den, you generally don't have dealers selling pre-made merchandise in the Artist Alley. 4 years I didn't know.
I just learned that.
You're welcome.
All right, any more questions?
One thing I'm doing.
What do you got, Sigma?
Come on. Are you okay if I just turn it?
Come on up.
You're making this difficult for me. God damn it.
Of course I am.
I don't have the flexibility that I wish I did. Of course
I understand.
Fuck you. God damn it, they don't work as my voice.
This one does.
Thank God, because my voice is fucked a bit.
You're all good.
I'm a suitor as well. One of the things that I heard in previous versions of this at different conventions, if a fursuiter is mentioning that they're okay and say that they're motionless and they're laying down somewhere, don't be afraid to ask them, can I get you some water?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I've had that done to me a couple of times, and holy shit, does that help.
Absolutely. No, that's very good. I appreciate it.
If you think a fursuiter's in trouble, like needs a glass of water, needs something, the one thing I can say is get someone from the convention involved. Get the security. Like if you think a fursuiter is overheating, there is absolutely no shame in a fursuiter that's absolutely fine getting a check-in. There is nothing wrong with that. If you feel that, it is way, way better to be overcautious than to assume that it's okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's.
So we did it, so I'm going to leave you with one last thing, and this is true of all conventions. You're going to get out of this convention what you put into it. I know there are multiple people here this weekend who brought the Nintendo Switch, who have set up in their room. They're going to hang out in the room with their friends, they're going to play games, and they're going to have a great time. And that's wonderful, and if that's what you're here to do, hell yeah, you do you and you enjoy it. But if you truly want to get this experience, the amount of effort that you put in, the amount that you're willing to do, that's how much fun you're going to have. There are panels here this weekend. There's a sponsor suite, but more importantly, there are people. There are people who are part of this amazing community, and every one of them, whether they know it or not, wants to meet you. Go out there, make friends, go to panels, have a drink, enjoy the evening, get some sleep, and then do it again for the next 2 days.
Drink if you're of age.
If you're of age. And if not, enjoy the milk! Enjoy the milk that's spiked with something. Enjoy the milk!
Are we talking about the really sticky milk?
What the no! It's just honey milk, it's fine.
18 plus, I mean...
White honey.
White, I hate you so much.
No, you love me.
It's true. You will get out of this what you put into it. So everyone, don't forget, go out there, have fun. My name is Alkali. This is Fur. Sigma. You talk a little bit.
I'm dead inside.
Aren't we all?
I'm dead inside, I'm dead.
I know, I always want to call you Kyer, and it fucks with me, because Xander was Kyer, and I can't get out of my head.
Oh.
And my friend Cryo, who I keep wanting to call a different name. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the convention. If any of us can make it better for you, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you so much, and good night.
Silver Gatoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.